Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Sorry, I was late. All these things setting up is always taking some time. But welcome to my live stream. After a very long time, feel at home. You're free to tweet any question below on the thread. And yes, we have come to discover a lot this week. First of all, we had a sitting cabinet secretary, a sitting member of the cabinet, releasing a statement and further going to the police to record another statement saying that on the day Justin Muturi's son was abducted, the next day the father tried to call Ruto, he couldn't find him, and he found his way to State House. He went to State House to inquire about the whereabouts of his son, who had been abducted by people who looked like policemen from the CCTV footage that was released by royal media, by the nearby hotels and residences. And all of those had the hallmarks of a police abduction. And it was coinciding with the period which the Gen Zs were protesting. So the cabinet secretary goes to State House. So you can imagine the other children whose parents don't have that kind of access, that kind of privilege. He goes to State House, waits for Ruto to finish a meeting with the members of parliament, and then now gets Ruto to ask him, where is my son? Like any other parent would. If all the other parents who've had their children abducted, if they had the capacity and the access, they would do the same. Anyone would do the same in that position. So he goes and asks Ruto. Then Ruto tells him, no, my phone has a problem. I don't know whether he bought that phone from Osama Otero, the one who sells stolen cell phones in Imenti House. The state-sponsored traitor. Osama Otero, Kevin Monari, shame on you wherever you are. You are useless bitch. Mentioned in that statement have come out to deny that. Nurdin Haji has not denied. Ruto has not denied. They are just firefighting. They are just playing games here with us, propaganda games. But none of those motherfuckers have denied. Those cocksuckers have denied. Nurdin Haji. You can abduct children. You can abduct our children. You can abduct us. Because who the fuck do you think you are? Because you went for some crash courses. You went for some holiday tuition to study Hitler, to study Nazi era domination and subjugation of populations through intelligence tactics. Nurdin Haji, if you look at the history of his father was called Mohammed Yusuf Haji. He was a long time provincial commissioner of the Rift Valley province. If you look at the Akiumi report, if you look at the other Truth and Justice report by Justice Kriegler from South Africa, all of them mention adversely Nurdin Haji's father. Nurdin Haji's father was a perpetrator of war crimes and genocide, forceful eviction, internal displacement. He particularly targeted communities like Kikuyu, like Luhya, like Luo, like Kisii, forcefully evicting them from Rift Valley at the instigation of Daniel Arap Moi. And they even wrote in that paper, in those commissions, that Nurdin Haji would do anything to appease her. It was driven by both hate and his capacity and ability to kiss ass. And Nurdin Haji, and we say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Nurdin Haji has acquired the genetic mutation of these attributes from his father. These are killers. These are murderers. Nurdin Haji was called like this and he was asked by the president. You know, this is like a fucking movie, man. I don't know why people are not making movies out of this. Like, you go there, you ask, and then the head of intelligence, the director of intelligence says, yes, I have your son. Yes, I have his son. Never had this shit in our lives, man. We didn't know that this is how governments operate. We didn't know that this is the brazenness that they have. The entitlement of wanting our loyalty, our obedience, our subservience. They can go to any length. They can spread fear. They can abduct us. As a victim of an abduction and a cooked case, which I'm sure Nurdin Haji is behind, because we have been told he's the overall in the chain of command for abductions. He reports to the president. So you're called, and then you're told, release that son. You will, and in true to it, within 1 hour, Justin Muturi's son was at home. If you guys consume news for the sake of consuming, bro, that's your shit. Me, when I consume, I freak out. I'm thinking, like, who the fuck are these people working in the government? Who the fuck are they? First of all, the national intelligence is supposed to defend our borders from external threats. They are not supposed to be instigating. They're not supposed to be engineering abductions, kidnappings. And this is what they have been doing since time immemorial. These, ladies and gentlemen, these should trigger the biggest unrest in the country. I don't know how we are living in this country. I don't know what the fuck we are doing in this country. If the director of national intelligence can literally abduct somebody, man, I don't know. Aren't you crazy like me? Aren't you going nuts? Nurdin Haji. And so we get to the topic of the day. We've been talking about nefarious capital, because at the end of the day, I keep telling you, follow the money. Follow the money. The money will direct you to the real source of the problems. The real source of the problems is this illicit capital, is this nefarious capital, which is circulating in our financial system. They have captured the Kismayu port. They smuggle commodities. They smuggle imported products, which are smuggled in the porous Kenya-Somali border. The border had for long been closed. Who opened it? It is Aden Duale when he was the Minister of Defense, when he was a Cabinet Secretary of Defense. You see, these guys have targeted specific offices. They wanted to cripple the intelligence. They wanted to cripple the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. They have now Ahmed Isaac Hassan is the chairman of the Independent Police Oversight Authority. We have Marjan Hussein, who is the CEO of Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. We have, who is that other wanker, who is in Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC. So they have literally crippled our electoral system. They have crippled our criminal justice system. And now what do they want to do? What is Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi doing? He wants to cripple the judiciary. Together with Nelson Harvey, at the behest of William Ruto and the nefarious capital that is powering all this state capture, they now want to cripple and capture the judiciary. So yes, we do need reforms in the judiciary. Yes, we do need Mother Karua and court to leave, because the Supreme Court has overstayed and they have shown nothing but contempt to the people. They don't serve our interests. They serve vested interests. But it won't be done at the terms of Ahmed Nasir. No. Who the fuck is he? He might be good for ratings for your collapsing media houses like Jeff Koinange Live. You know, he could be good for ratings for such a deadbeat show. Now, for the rest of us, we don't give a fuck about him. We give a fuck about the rule of law. So we have all this. It's called nefarious capital. And the source of this is Kismayu, because they can get product, they can get commodities, which then drive 9 hours through the Somalia terrain, but down into Garissa. And one of the main products that is fueling our oppression, it is sugar. It is sugar. If you don't know, sugar is a drug. Many of you people are addicted to sugar and you don't know. And they know your addiction to sugar. They know you cannot take tea without sugar. They know you cannot drink juice without sugar. They know you cannot do all this shit. So what do you do right now? We cannot be helpless. And I told you this journey will need a lot of sacrifices. As we have been talking about January 27th, this commodity that is imported through Kismayu, every time it is dumped in the country, there is a high demand of it. Supermarkets are rushing. They don't even want to check traceability, whether it's coming from local millers. They just get sugar, which has been repackaged in go-downs, in Mumias paper bags or whatever, Sony sugar paper bags or gunias. So you have the responsibility of now sacrificing. Are you ready to sacrifice? Are you ready to put Kenya ahead of your parochial interests? I just wrote a tweet there a few moments ago talking about the middle class and the working class. They are raiding your paychecks. You will have to bear the burden of William Ruto's depravity and mental impotence. You will have to underwrite it. They are coming, they are increasing taxes on anything, income tax, what have you. And they are coming for you, the working class. And when we tell you to join in civil disobedience, in mass movements, you guys are so averse. You guys are so comfortable. You love being oppressed. You love being distracted. You love following nonsensical stories. So we have to be meaningful, we have to be intentional, and we have to move with purpose. And the purpose right now is to go for the head of the snake. The head of the snake is who? It is nefarious capital. They have used their dirty money. They have laundered it in our financial system. They want us. Once they sell all their commodities tax and duty free, they are making astronomical profits, outlandish profits. For every shilling invested, they are getting like 20 shillings back. Because they don't pay taxes, they don't pay good, whatever, everything of theirs. They don't pay security because they use our government's machinery. So we have to look at the source of our problems, and the source of our problems, you will discover it once you follow the money. Once you follow the money, you're going to see that these guys have been very strategic with the people they plant in specific offices, in specific sectors, and they are going step by step, which is now seemingly becoming like a colonization. We are being colonized in our own faces. You are being colonized right now by Somali oligarchs with your silence and acquiescence. In fact, most of you shamelessly have been touting and praising them that they are good investors. They're not genius investors. What the fuck have they invested? Have they invented? How many patents do they have in the Kenya Intellectual Property Institute? These are thugs. These are thugs. So when we say that we are moving with purpose, when we say that we need to cut down, we need to cut the head of the snake. The head of the snake is the money. Where is the source of the money? It is Kismayu Port. That is the source of all our problems. And it has really undermined even our domestic production capacity, because now they go and influence the laws so that it becomes difficult for us to produce, for us to grow, for us to manufacture, so that we can be susceptible, we can be dependent on the imports that they are flooding in the market. And this country of ours was not built based on imports. It has been built by the blood, sweat, and tears of hardworking Kenyans. People who grow, people who export, people who do anything, who build, who construct. We cannot then submit ourselves to the throes of importation because we have to enrich a bunch of barons, a bunch of oligarchs. We have been raising concern about this thing called alcoblo, which is now paradoxical because during the Uhuru era, Uhuru was on the payroll of these Somali oligarchs. They helped him. Uhuru Kenyatta owed the Somali oligarchs because they staged the Westgate terror attack. They staged the Garissa University attack using those the offshoot, using the anger, using the sadness and sorrow which was propelled by those incidents. The international criminal courts were able to suspend all the physical hearings of William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta. So they were staged. These terrorist attacks were not genuine. If you Google, you're going to see that Kenya ignored advanced intelligence about these attacks. So these attacks were allowed to happen. And guess what? Guess who was in Westgate during the terror attack? It was Nurdin Haji's brother. Nurdin Haji's brother, who is the Garissa Senator, Abdul Haji, he was in Westgate. There was a camera there filming him. Why was he there? He did not fire a single shot. He did not save anyone. But there was a camera strategically there, which then painted him. Oh, he was the hero of Westgate. There were Reke squad there who did the actual dirty work. They are the ones who went floor to floor. And then last minute, just when we were about to finish the operation, they were recalled. They were withdrawn. They were told, leave. They were told, leave Westgate right now because KDF is coming, and they wanted to extend all those theatrics so that they can buy international goodwill. They can hoodwink the donors. You know, our donors, the Muzungus, are highly excitable. They believe anything. Even they believe Kenya has good governance because they've been cooked for numbers there by the Ministry of Finance. So they needed to hoodwink the International Criminal Court that, yes, there is this hostage situation happening, and we have to be there full time. While to be honest, what was happening inside was they were burning mattresses and they were looting from ATM machines and whatnot. So you have to be intentional. We are dealing with people who have no regard to the Kriegler Commission report, to the Akiumi Commission report, which spoke about Muhammad Yusuf Haji, who is Nurdin Haji's father. He was said and he was cited human life. He's an animal. Now, how do you imagine that an animal can give birth to a human, that somehow Nurdin Haji, because he projects professionalism, he projects calmness, you think that he somehow escaped that genetic mutation? In CBD, he somehow escaped, he somehow sidestepped it. No! All moving at the same speed. Nurdin Haji is like his father. The apple moving together from the tree. We are all moving at the same pace. Everyone is suffering. Everyone is suffering. You are seeing all these stories that are coming up. Oh, this person was broke. Nefarious capital from the Somali oligarchs is causing us a lot of grief. We are being recolonized right in front of our faces, and we are accepting it. We are seeing media there touting them as geniuses. What geniuses are they? Are they anywhere in the value chain? Are they anywhere? Do they grow? Do they produce? Do they manufacture? No. All our productive capital is going to imports. We have killed our sugar sector in the Western province, in the Western belt, because of these imports. Because every day they go and find new laws, new directives, which are going to cripple domestic production. So all of this is scripted. All of this is choreographed. And if you don't act right now, you're going to be colonized by Somali oligarchs. Are you ready to be colonized? Our freedom fighters fought so hard against the colonial Mzungu. Now it's happening in real time where we are being colonized by Somali oligarchs. Let's be honest right now. Has Nurdin Haji, has Mohammed Amin arrested or abducted anyone from their community? No. Have we seen any noise from their community condemning the abductions? No. Why? Because we are being colonized. You're being colonized without your knowledge. You're being hoodwinked. All of these distractions are coming because you're being colonized. They want control of specific sectors which are going to render our democracy redundant. They have already captured IEBC. They have already captured NIS. They have already captured DCI. They have already captured EACC. They now want to capture the judiciary. What more do we have in our democracy? These are the levers. These are the functions.
You know, I saw a document, and all of these
a
blog from Zimbabwe
saying
that there's a guy called Sir Wicknell Chabayo.
They've been infiltrated
He came and saw Ruto
by
when
the
Ruto
people
who
are our oppressors, not their communities. The oligarchs who have vested interests.
Who was the vice president
and
of
I spoke
Kenya.
about Russian oligarchs being expunged from the British financial system. If that could happen there, why can't it happen to us? Because we know this money is the one that is being used to capture our government. Our government structure is the one which is being used to bribe the MPs so as to pass flawed and faulty laws. It's the one which is being used to bribe
came and saw Ruto.
Then the judiciary, the blogs, the Zimbabwean blogs are saying it is the one smuggled gold into Kenya. Now, mimi nimekuwa nikiangalia watu wa wash na mnawajua. Naona siku hizi hawana ile liquidity walikuanga nayo zamani. Kumbe Ruto ni yeye alichukua paka hiyo kazi. Yaani Ruto sio kwa wash, sio kwa nani. Na those guys of wash tulikuwa tunawapenda kwa sababu they used to keep these wanawalipia mavitu. The ground is shaky. So mimi tukakuja kukumbe William Ruto, hiyo ndio kazi sasa ameingilia kila mahali. Ametuingilia kwa ni wakulima. Ameingilia nani? Ameingilia pande ya mafuta. He's everywhere.